Yo, I actually have a gaming channel if you're interested in watching some gameplay. I absolutely love making games, so hey, if you want to check that out, please feel free to do so. Okay, enjoy. Bye. Hey everyone, my name is Levi. How do you like my new setup? I brought my tattoo couch into my studio. Also, if you hear an ungodly in the background, I don't know what that is. That's like this weird vent thing that's right across from me, and it's so loud. It went off this morning at I think like 3 a.m. or something, and I don't even know how loud it was, like how long it was screaming, but it was screaming forever. So anyway, today we are talking about this article that I found, which is called 5 Surprising Facts About Daydreaming. Now, note, this is about regular daydreaming and not maladaptive daydreaming, but when I read it, I thought it was quite interesting just to go through the, 5 things and just to mention how it differs or how it agrees with maladaptive daydreaming. So yeah. Oh, by the way, hey, if you like my content, feel free to subscribe. You can always unsubscribe in the future. So yeah, also like and share if you'd like to. That would be cool. Anyway, I'm just gonna skip everything. Like, you guys can go and read this. It's really interesting. They did like this whole computer model thing which can map like the gray matter in the brain and how it works and how it does all of its stuff. So I did neuroscience for about 3 months. So firstly, you daydream less as you get older. Now, I don't know how true this is, but for me, I mean, I'm basically on the edge of death right here. I'm 25, and my back hurts, my entire body hurts. I'm constantly complaining. So yeah, I'd say I'm about there. I'm pretty old right now. When I was younger, when I was in school and when I was still living with my parents, I daydreamed a lot more. And I think it had to do with the fact that I didn't have to be as busy as I am today. I could get home, I didn't have to worry about making any income. Yeah, I didn't worry about having food, I didn't have to worry about, financial stresses, anything like that. So I had a lot of time to daydream. I had a lot of time to willfully, is that a word? To engage in daydreaming, to turn on my music and to start daydreaming. Today, I can't say I barely daydream, but I daydream a lot less. And now I don't actually willfully daydream. I only daydream when I'm walking to the store or walking back home. So walking definitely triggers it. And when I'm listening to music, then as well, or when I'm doing chores or when I'm doing work, then maladaptive daydreaming steps in, and the maladaptiveness of it really, sticks out. How do you guys feel about that? Do you daydream more or less now that you're older? Or haven't you seen any differences? Because I think that might actually be a common thing. Ooh, there's a riot. I just got a buzzer notification saying an anti-land invasion operation is underway in Hamburg. There is a large law enforcement present as well as public under order police. The community have blocked roads and are burning tires in the road. Please avoid the area. Well, that sucks. Hamburg is right here. I wonder if I'd be able to see any smoke or whatever, but yeah, I heard the sirens. Anyway, sounds like a them problem. Alright, second, daydreaming makes you forget what you were doing. Yeah, definitely. When I am busy doing something and my mind starts wandering, I tend to do really stupid things. Like, I usually make 2-minute noodles, or for the Americans among us, ramen. I don't know, or like quick noodles or whatever it's called, instant noodles. I make 2-minute noodles in like a regular cup, like a coffee cup. It's nice and compact, I don't waste an entire bowl, and I just make it with like kettle water. So I boil the water, pour in the noodles into the cup, let it stand for 2 minutes, and then it's cooked. I just pour out the water because the water stays hot for a very long time. Today I almost poured in cold water from the fridge, filtered water, into my cup, and I was like, that's not how it works. How about you guys? Have you guys experienced this? I know that a lot of people have spoken about how they forget what they were doing, so yeah. But please let me know in the comments, by the way. I love engaging with you guys. The third one says daydreaming turns off other parts of the brain. I don't know what I can say about this, but I'm gonna read it just to make more sense of it. Our brain has 2 key systems: an analytic part that helps us make reasoned decisions, and an empathetic part that allows us to relate to others. When confronted with a cognitive task, your brain requires the empathetic area to turn off to get the job done, notes Anthony Jack, a cognitive scientist at Case Western Reserve University in Ohio. That is really interesting. In other words, if you are engaged in a demanding analytic task and it doesn't leave any room for empathy. Oh, it doesn't leave any room for empathy. Damn. Yet, when you are daydreaming, your mind naturally cycles through different modes of thinking, and during this time, the analytic and empathetic parts of your brain tend to turn each other off. That's interesting, but it also makes sense to me because when we daydream, we can do stuff like problem solving, or we're thinking about the future, or we're worrying about something or whatnot. But when we daydream, we also see these emotional things happening in our daydreams, right? We have characters, making us happy or getting hurt or whatever. So that makes sense. So that's actually very interesting. Today I learned. Did you guys learn today? I hope so. Then fourth, your brain, not your mind, controls your daydreams. This is actually interesting because this entire time I was like, oh, your mind this, your mind that. And then when I read this, I was like, oh. So I apologize, I was wrong. I'm willing to admit my mistakes and correct it. Let's read what it says though. The mind and brain can be thought of as different aspects of the same thing, like the software and hardware of a computer. We tend to think of our minds in the driving seat and our brain activity as following, Jack said. But in fact, the relationship goes both ways. How we daydream and think depends on the brain's structure. On the other hand, that structure is constantly changing in small ways. As we learn new things, the connections between nerve cells change. Your brain naturally fluctuates in certain ways because of its structure, and that determines the structure of your daydreaming, Jack said. That makes sense. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? I mean, that's like saying, like they said, hardware and software of a computer. You have your hardware, the hardware is actually what houses the software. So like the brain is what houses the mind, right? So sorry to interrupt. I did neuroscience in 2017 for 3 months. So that's like 3.5 years ago. So I don't remember a lot of things except for the Nernst equation. I hate the Nernst equation. I hate him. And fifth, but not final, yeah, daydreaming makes you more creative. Well, we all know about this. I think that a lot of maladaptive daydreamers agree that they enjoy their maladaptive daydreaming for that reason, is that it makes it creative. Even though it has this distressing factor and it interferes with life and all that type of stuff, making us more creative as individuals is definitely something that maladaptive daydreaming does, or daydreaming just in general. So this isn't anything new. I think we all know about this. Many times the dialogue that occurs when the daydreaming mind cycles through different parts of the brain access information that was dormant or out of reach, notes Eugenio M. Roth, a psychiatrist at Florida International University. Likewise, the daydreaming mind may make an association between bits of information that the person had never considered in that particular way. This accounts for creativity, insights of wisdom, and oftentimes the solutions to problems, I told you, that the person had not considered, Roth said by email. A similar process, but more random, also takes place during daydreaming. I mean, I think we all know about that. We know that our daydreams are making us more creative, but at the same time, a lot of people don't realize how much of a problem-solving mechanism it also is. I think that a lot of times when we are presented with some crazy things in reality, then we have these daydreams so that we can sort of problem solve it, so that we can sort of figure it out, I actually read a very interesting message from someone on the Discord once where they said that they actually use their daydreams in strategy games, where they try and figure out different strategies just by sort of daydreaming about it. Which might sound a little strange, but I can definitely see how that works. Yeah, very interesting. But hey, tell me what you guys think about this. Tell me a fun fact in the comments. It doesn't have to do with maladaptive daydreaming. It can be about literally anything. I have one for you guys, by the way. This is my telescope. It's an Astromaster 102. So AZ. It's not very powerful, but it can see Jupiter and Saturn. So it's pretty cool, not gonna lie. And the moon, obviously. Oh, and I saw Mars last night. which is also cool. So what happened recently is that people were looking at Betelgeuse. How do you say that word? That's a super bright star in the sky. And when they looked at it, they noticed that it went very, very dull. It lost a lot of its brightness. So researchers and sky watchers and whatnot, they eventually figured out that it was due to a dust cloud that was covering the star from our view. Given the distance, the light year distance, because light travels, in light years. Given the distance between the Earth and that star, we know that the dust cloud covered that star at the beginning of the 14th century. How screwed up is that? That is so interesting. So anyway, if you had a telescope that spanned 1 light year and you were somewhere in space looking at Earth, you would be able to see dinosaurs roam around on the Earth. Fun fact for the day. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like. Please feel free to subscribe. I would appreciate it a lot. Please take care of yourselves. Make good choices as always. Goodbye. See you tomorrow.